Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome to another video, another makeup video. I'm cranking them out. If you are new, welcome. I hope that you get what you're looking for out of this video and out of the Natasha Denona Xenon palette, all the information you need. First and foremost, I would ask just straight up if you'll give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps me out. I'm trying to jump back into that YouTube algorithm, and quite frankly, it's been a struggle bus. So any like that you can send my way would be most appreciated. And if you are new, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell just so that we can talk makeup again in the future. Makeup, Disney, life, you know, shopping. It's all about everything these days around here. So that being said, I'm going to talk to you about the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. I am a huge fan of pretty much all of the Natasha Denona MIDI palettes, one or two exclusions, but for the most part, these are what makeup dreams are made of. So let's talk through this palette together. I've got swatches for you on my skin tone, on my husband's skin tone, which is definitely deeper than mine. And then we're gonna put this on together. Let's talk through how I like it, and that way you can determine if this $69 palette is right for you. So let's get started. Alrighty, my friends, so let's go ahead and just dive right on into this. So this is the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. This is the MIDI palette that kind of partners and goes hand in hand with the little 5-pan mini that she had released. I think it's been a couple of years at this point, maybe even a little bit longer. It's very unusual for me to like these types of shades. They intimidate me. They can go south very quickly. They can just make you look like you have a black eye, to be honest. And it can look very sloppy. I, for one, loved this little mini. And so when this was like, you know, publicized, when promo pics started coming out, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to think twice about it. So this is what the box looks like. It is very pretty. The lettering is in like this foiled silver, or this metallic silver. And here's the crazy thing. The little stars are actual like silver foil flecks on what am I trying to say? Online. It looked like just little white dots. So I didn't know what to expect. And I was so pleasantly surprised that, I mean, it's the little things. It's the little details, right? The back, you have the little diagram of the palette, along with the names. It is made in Italy. There are 15 total eyeshadows for a total of 18.15 grams or 0.64 ounces. Listen, I honestly don't care about net weight. I don't know if you do, but I throw it out there just in case you do. And let's see, where's the shelf life? 24 months. That's typical for Natasha Denona, and I appreciate that because I keep my eyeshadow palettes for like a lifetime. So here we are. Then you've got the palette itself. It mirrors the box exactly with the little silver specks. It has all my fingerprints on it. I just started using it today for this video, and this is how grimy it looks. Look, you can see on the reflection, it looks like a child just went like, anyways. So listen, if that bothers you, I am just forewarning you, this will attract any kind of fingerprint. Doesn't bother me, but anyways. It's got the little pinholes on the back like you're used to. You can pop these pans out, arrange them as you would like. I never do that. I wouldn't ever be able to put them back as they were with their appropriate names. So I just leave them as is. And then on the inside, you've got your typical mirror, and then you have 15 glorious shades in here. I have heard a lot of feedback of people saying a lot of this is repetitious. Yes, when I opened it, I kind of thought the same thing, but we'll go through that. We're gonna go through swatches together. And so here is a look at what you've got. Let's see, I'm trying to get it to you without like as much of a reflection. So you really can see that there is a lot of what feels like kind of duplication, a lot of similarity. There are 4 types of formulas. Let's see if I can remember them. It's her classic mattes. It's her metallics. There is like a wet metallic formula. And then there's one other that I cannot for the life of me remember. Mattes, metallics, wet mattes. I mean, wet metallics. And then I forget what other one. Anyways, so forgive me for that. It didn't sound like there were any new formulas in here. I will tell you straight up, right off the bat, there are no duplications from this to this. It is meant to partner together, as with plenty of her other mini versus midis. And I have found, here's what's weird, and we'll talk through this later as well, but I have found that this one has more in the way of an array of mattes for like a gradient effect, if you will. Whereas here, you don't have a whole lot of that. So there is that, just putting that out there first and foremost. So let me go ahead and give you some swatches. We're just gonna go ahead and do these real time. Let me get my little baby wipes because I have a feeling these are gonna take a little tugging to get off the skin. So I just went ahead and brought the whole pack with me, and that way I don't have to be making runs back and forth to the bathroom to get a new baby wipe. So let's just go ahead and go through the first row together. I'm gonna throw up a photo for each row, for each time I do swatches, of these shades on my husband's skin tone so that you can see if you are of a deeper complexion than I, you can have kind of an idea of how it's going to work. So here is the first row. It's Rhyme, Cygnus. Now I can't guarantee that I'm saying some of these names right, but you know, anyways, we try around here. Stellar, Blizzard, Grue, Greu. I will tell you that Cygnus and Stellar are what I am wearing on my eye today. And again, we're going to do this together as far as putting that on the eye in a demo. But this is the first row. That's very pretty. Okay, so let me get you a little closer there. All right, so this is, the metallic twinkle to this just is like, I feel like this makes the whole palette for me. Okay, let me go ahead and wipe these off. It's probably gonna take a quick second, and then I'll be back with row number 2. Here's row number 2, obviously quite a bit deeper than row number 1. So this is Ebb, Super Ionic, Sposh. What does that mean? I'm gonna have to look that up. Snowbow and Night Sky. Night Sky is what's on the outermost portion of my lid, and then Ebb, this blue-based one right here, is what I have on the lower lash line. So just so that you have an idea. Definitely deeper than the last row. This one adds quite a bit more dimension, and the blue in this really stands out. So let me wipe this off, and we'll be back with the final row. Last row is Contrail, Snert. Why are these so funny to me? Neve, Flurry, and Skift. Okay, obviously I need some education in what all this means. All right, so obviously quite a bit lighter than the second row. So the second row is what is predominantly, what it has is your deepening depth shades. How many times could I say that in different variations? But that is the last row. That looks very pretty. Okay, it's time to put this on my eyes together. It was actually quite a bit easier than I anticipated, but given that I love the mini so much, I had hoped that that would be the case. So we're gonna put this on the eyes. Really, no complicated stuff going on here. I don't do complicated, and so, you know, simple here is the way we go. So let's get into that so that we can do this together. If you have this palette and you want to kind of follow along and maybe try something different, then just grab that out and let's do that. But here we go. All right, I have brought you in up close and personal. Look, I mean, listen, I need to give my pink tree its moment, if you will. I got this at TJ Maxx and I am so loving it. It's the sweetest thing. Okay, listen, total side note, squirrel moment. All right, let's dive into this palette. I have never used this before. I am very familiar with the Natasha Denona formula, and I know she's very innovative, and I feel like each MIDI palette, she's coming out with new stuff. But anyways, trying to think, I feel like I kind of would like to go with this one right here as an all over lid color, which is very outside of my, you know, what I typically do. So I'm trying to think where I even begin. I think I'm going to start with the shade Flurry right here. My eyes are already primed with my, yes, you guessed it, Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer. Let me take the little film off of this bad boy and let's go in with the shade Flurry. So I'm not going to do a voiceover on this. We're just going to talk this through so that you can tell like real time how this is working for me. So this is kind of like an off-white. It's like a dirty white. I don't even know how to put that into words other than that. So I don't think that's going to be I was gonna say, I don't know if that's going to be the best crease color, but actually I think it is, given that this other shade is so dark that I think I do need a little bright up there, and that's it. I'm not going with anything else up in the crease. I can see as I'm putting this on, I see the little dust. So obviously there's a little kickback, no big deal. I mean, I'm used to that. Actually, this was a perfect, yes, I'm very happy with this. Okay, I am going to grab this shade right here that I already have shown you like 5 times. Cygnus, I guess. I am not into, so listen, I don't know half of these terms. Forgive me, but I am going to, as usual, pick it up on my finger. Oh, I'm a little scared because these types of things can go fast or south real quick. And I probably should have done this eye. This eye I tend to struggle with a little more because when I put on shade, it ends up getting down here. But you know what? It is what it is. We've already started. So, ooh, that's looking nice. That is looking really date night. Like I'm going out to a show, to a Broadway show. But I do need a brush at this point. This eye is so much easier to do with my finger than this one. And I feel like over time, this one is getting harder to do. I don't understand why. So I'm just going to take a fluffy or a denser shadow brush. I find that with these types of shades and these types of formulas that a denser brush usually works best. So I'm just going to place this down where my finger can't reach. Oh my gosh, this shade is incredible. I am feeling every bit of this shade. And this makes me want to like go to a holiday party or something. Oh, this is like perfect release for the holidays. I'm really happy with this. As I only use like the second shade, but that's okay. Okay, I'm trying to be very careful because like I said, these types of shades can go south really quickly and it's hard to correct. It's just easier to take the time to go slow rather than go back and have to correct something that you've already like done major damage to and you need cleanup on aisle 4. But, oh, that looks nice. All right, here's the thing though. With this shade being all over my lid, I kind of don't need a deep shade on the, ooh, but there's one called Night Sky that I actually really do want to use. All right, well, let's figure this out. Okay, I'm gonna use 2 more shades, I think. One being the shade Stellar. Ooh, Stellar or, okay. Let's use the shade Stellar. I'm curious to see if there's a lot of repeat in this palette, which I feel like there kind of is, but there's also a lot that's just really speaking to me. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna brighten this up. We're gonna start here in the inner corner, just like that. And I'm gonna start working my way, up. That is sensational. Oh gosh, I'm so happy. This is old school Michelle, y'all, coming back at you with some amazing reactions to eyeshadow. Okay, I'm gonna take this up a little bit more. And then I do like to take it like actually onto that deep shadow and kind of create just that little arch. Just grab a little bit more. Oh my, this is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Okay. Okay. All right, that's where I'm gonna leave it for that. Now I have to look for, I've got like a tiny little blending brush in here somewhere that I'm gonna use for the outer. I can use this one, but I also have, here it is. Okay, now the question is, which of these 2 do I use? This is tiny and detailed, but it is very skinny. This one over here, I feel like I like how the brush contrasts with the curtain. It's easier for you to see. So this one right here is a Real Techniques smaller blending brush. It's the Essential Crease Brush. This is what I use when I don't want things to be super sloppy and I'm trying to get like in this little area here. So the question, I feel like I'm gonna go in with this one. And I'm gonna go in with the shade Night Sky. This, I don't know. This may end up just kind of blending into that shade I already have there. But I do, you know, where I would typically put a deeper shade on that outer portion of my lid, I do want to see, like, if it intensifies. How much deeper is this from, oh, wow. It's quite a bit deeper. Okay. But it does, so, see what I mean? Like, this could go sideways real fast, so just stamp it on really slowly. If you're anything like me and these kind of shades, you know. I think what I'm going to have to do is, and see like these deeper shades, I like bringing them out a little bit just like this. I feel like I can't talk while I'm doing this, y'all. Hold on. Gosh, that's nice. Okay. We're not done. I promise I'm not leaving it like that all kind of wacky weird. So then, grab a fluffy brush that doesn't have really any product or that, you know, you've only used for light shades. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try and like smooth that out a little bit so it doesn't look like amateur hour over here. Wow, this is This is intense, but this is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm trying to see if I do have a little bit of fallout right here. Nothing major, actually. Wow. This is so good. Okay. All right, so let me explain to you what I'm gonna do, because now it's time for me to go off camera, finish out my other eye. Do you see that? This is beautiful, stands out. This is incredible, stands out. And this really did add even another layer of depth that I didn't think it would. And truly, I mean, I feel like I need to go out on date night. I literally just wore this for this look. Okay, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna explain to you so that when I come back, obviously it's gonna be finished look. I will retouch my lipstick because I realize it looks crazy right now. All right, so I am going to tightline and waterline. We're gonna make it as smoky as we can. So I'm gonna do that. I don't think there's a need to add a wing, if I'm being honest, just because this is already a lot happening and the wing is just gonna kind of get lost. So honestly, why put in the work? So I'm gonna do tightline and waterline with just like an Essence, black liner. And then I'll add some mascara and lashes, and from there, and then touch up my lipstick. And then from there, come back and show you the final look. After that, we'll talk final thoughts. Okay, listen, I was hoping to come back and do the whole, like slow-mo, look at my look kind of thing. But here's the thing, I realized I really do need something on this lower lash line. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on together. I didn't want to throw it on without you and you just really not be able to be a part of that process. So I'm trying to figure out what to use on the bottom. I feel like going in with that same night sky shade is just really gonna close the lid off more than I would like. And so I'm trying to think what I'd like to do. Honestly, all my options are deep. This one's more of a blue based, and then this is like a black, and then this is a, I don't know, gray black. Anyways, this one obviously being the one we used on the outer portion of the lid. I feel like I'm gonna go in with the one that's like a little bit more blue toned. I don't know. I have this idea that it's gonna be a little less deep, but yeah, I feel like that actually works really nicely. Well, that actually works really good. See, this is why I had to come back on here to do this, because, I would have had this reaction off camera and it would have completely robbed you of the excitement. That's pretty perfect. I think that's how we're gonna leave it. Now, you know what? Let me give you the slow-mo effect. Let me zoom you back out. This is obviously the final look. Touched up my lipstick. Let me zoom you on out so that we can talk through this palette together, so that you can decide whether it's right for you if you have been kind of curious. What did you think? Was that easy enough for you? I hope so. But now it is time to talk about final thoughts for this palette, so that if you are wondering if this is right for you, hopefully this helps you in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you're just here for the fun of it. I don't know. But that being said, before I take us into like deep thoughts, I do want to give you a comparison of this silver right here to the little silver in the mini palette, just so that you have an idea of comparison for, for tone. Like if I have one, is it pretty similar to the other? So straight off, I will say that the one in the midi palette, the one we're reviewing today, is a little chunkier, but as far as tone, as far as, just looking at them on my fingertips, they look actually very similar. And actually, so they are very similar. I will say the one in the midi palette is lighter. This one almost looks a little bit like it could have a little bit of a blue tone to it. But this one definitely is slightly lighter in tone. But truly and honestly, if you're buying the palette just for that, then don't. Because, I mean, listen, from afar, no one's going to be able to tell. They are very similar enough to where, at least in tone, to where, no one would be the wiser. But, if you're like me and you kind of want to have all the other shades too, you are a collector of the Natasha Denona midi palettes, then listen, I totally understand. And you probably should add that to your cart already. So, all right, let's talk about final thoughts. I am just going to say that I really like this palette. I was kind of getting concerned with seeing so many people. Now, let me take a step back. Typically, when I'm going to review a palette, I don't like to see what everybody's feedback is because I don't want to have that bias in my mind as far as like, oh, everybody hates it, I'm going to hate it too. Because more often than not, it ends up being the opposite. If people really dislike something, I end up really liking it. But I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, you know what, if I see a review, if I see a video up, because usually people get their videos up faster than me, then I'm just going to go ahead and watch it for the fun of it. So I just don't let it influence what I'm going to think about it. I keep an open mind. Once my product comes in, I try it out. And I'm just to say, I really, really like this palette. Yes, it does have a lot of duplication or similarity, I will say. So there is that, but honestly, I mean, it has enough variety to where I am happy that I picked it up. The quality is really awesome. It is right in line with the with her MIDI palettes, with what I know to be of the Natasha Denona formula. And I do think this is actually very holiday appropriate because you're going to be going to parties, you're going to be going to Friendsgiving, you're going to be dressing up more than usual. And nothing dresses you up more than something like this. So I feel like it also can be a very day to night palette because there are a couple of shades in here that can give you that very simple, I'm just here at the office for the day, but then I'm going to, you know, a work event or a party or a Christmas party in the evening. And then from there, all you got to do is deepen it up with some of these deeper shades. Now, that is one of the cons of this palette, is the mattes in this palette are either, at least I think, very light or very deep. There is one that's a little bit kind of in between. It's this gray right here. But I do think where people are saying about the repetition, so you've got 3 super light shades, like a white shade, almost like a cream color shade, and then like a mist gray shade, which I think that's what it's called in here, is mist. And this one's a little more gray. But it's either super light, and then you've got one option to kind of add a little bit depth, and then you've got the really deep one. So from that aspect, yeah, I do see where there's a lack of variety. But again, I'm not the person to be afraid to just dig up another palette, combine, and then just get the full look that I'm looking for. So if you're also looking to use one of the deep shades all over your lid, you kind of don't need much more outside of that. Like you saw, we used one of the very light shades in my crease. That actually worked out really well because I need a little bit of contrast in there so that I don't just look super sunken, you know, my eyes, because dark colors like this will start closing off your eyes very quickly. So I do love a good sultry look like this, but there is no denying that it can really make your eyes start to look a little bit more sunken and you don't look as lively. And that's just, you know, that is just it when you do a smoky look. But all in all, I very much like this palette. Very happy I picked it up. This shade called Stellar, I think, is the one that's that wet metallic type of shade, and I love it. Over top of this black, it adds such a difference. It is such a twinkle. It livens it up, and I can imagine on other deep shades, not necessarily a black, but on like a deep purple or whatever, that one is going to look really, really stunning. So I'm definitely going to mix and match with other palettes that I have. So very happy with this palette. Glad I picked it up. I know her palettes are now $69 instead of $65. So there is that. It's just a question of, does $4 make a difference to you? I think it went from 65 to 67 to 69, right? Anyways, next thing you know, these are going to be the same price as her large palettes. I'd hate to think what the large palette is going to go up to. But all right, my friends, with that, it's time to call it another day. It's time to close out another video. I appreciate y'all's time and your support so very much. Some of y'all are so consistent with reaching out to me and commenting on videos and even sending private messages just to say how much you're enjoying that I've come back with makeup videos. And I just appreciate that support more than you know so very much. It truly warms my heart, and it just, you know, sometimes the world can seem so cruel, and then things like that just remind me of how kind people can be. So if you are one of those people that have consistently reached out, commented, supported, just encouraged, Thank you so, so much. I love and appreciate you. Alrighty, my friends, with that, the very last thing I leave you with, and again, if you are new, you are welcome to click off if you don't want to hear this, but I love telling you that Jesus loves you so very much. In a world where it almost seems like human interaction is becoming less and less, everything is so fast-paced, everything is so quick, everything is self-checkout. It's nice to know that there is someone who absolutely loves you, cares for you, I would say to the moon and back, but it goes even beyond that. And so no human could ever show you the love that Jesus can. And if you don't already know him as your savior, your very best friend, as the one to navigate and walk through life with, then I invite you to invite him into your heart, to make him absolute Lord of your life, and you will see that life it just becomes so amazing. I speak from experience, and that's why I love telling you. I don't want to go a video without telling you, because you don't know when you're going to walk out your door and not come back. That is the reality of life, and it's most important that everything is in order. Your house is in order, and by your house, I mean your heart. So again, I just give you that invitation. I pray that he makes himself very real to you, and I love each and every one of you, my friends. So I will talk to you in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, because usually I post in the evening. So talk to y'all soon, my friends. Bye.